Let's talk about the WNBA. They have made an offer that the players probably best not refuse at this point.
The entire basketball world is buzzing after the WNBA shocked fans with a massive new salary offer that no one saw coming. Overnight, the league revealed a CBA proposal that completely rewrites what players can earn, and the timing has everyone talking.
It is a sizable offer. It is a step up from what was already a very lucrative offer that was, roughly almost 4 times what they're getting paid right now, something right around.
This isn't just a small raise. It is a game-changing move that signals panic, pressure, and a league trying to keep its stars from walking away. Fans are stunned, players are whispering behind the scenes, and the front office looks desperate to regain control. Something bigger is happening here, and it all starts with this offer.
We're now officially over $1 million. Now, part of this is, and this is going to be interesting because $1 million or over $1 million sound a lot better 6 weeks ago before the emergence of Project B and actual WNBA players signing with Project B for what has already been, it's already been revealed, a minimum of $2 million.
Fans were stunned when the WNBA announced the numbers inside its newest CBA salary proposal. For the first time in league history, the max salary now climbs past $1 million, instantly rewriting what it means to be a top player. Even the minimum salary gets a major upgrade, jumping to well over $200,000 and giving rookies and veterans a level of security they have never seen before.
I can't wait till those salaries actually emerge because it's going to be a big deal. And the thing about it is, these WNBA players already know what those salaries are going to be because they're being offered them right now.
What shocked people even more was how fast everything changed. Just months ago, the discussion circled small raises and incremental bonuses. Now the league is suddenly offering life-changing money. This dramatic shift did not happen by accident. League executives moved quickly because pressure behind the scenes has been growing. The WNBA understands that its stars hold more power than ever, and the league cannot afford to lose them to outside opportunities or rival leagues offering bigger paydays.
The WNBA's latest collective bargaining agreement proposal to players includes a max salary exceeding $1 million. A source with direct knowledge of negotiations confirmed to Front Office Sports. The Associated Press was first to report the league's latest proposal. The proposal presented this week includes a salary range starting at more than $220,000. So that's going to be their league minimum now.
Raising salaries is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. For fans who have watched the financial struggles and long debates about player compensation, this moment feels like a turning point. The WNBA finally placed real value on its top performers and showed it is willing to spend to keep the league alive and competitive.
These salaries are in the first year and would grow over the course of the CBA. The new proposal comes after negotiations between the league and the WNBPA reached contentious points with both sides exchanging public barbs last month before agreeing to a 30-day extension. The CBA is set to expire October 31, but the extension was pushed to November 30.
Still, the speed of this change made people wonder why the league waited so long. Why make such a massive move now instead of when players were asking for fair pay years ago? The timing suggests the WNBA is reacting to something bigger, something that forced the front office to act immediately.
The latest proposal follows news that startup Project B is offering players multi-million-dollar salaries. The new league, which will run November to April, will not be in direct competition with the WNBA. But multiple sources suggested that players could opt to skip the WNBA season if negotiations didn't go well. Oh, I didn't see this.
It is clear this raise is not just about rewarding players, it is about protecting the league from a threat strong enough to shake ownership groups and rewrite priorities overnight. As fans try to understand how this sudden shift fits into the bigger picture, one thing becomes obvious. The salary jump is only the beginning of a much larger story that is still unfolding.
Well, that's what they wanted. They wanted this big increase in salary, And this is going to increase in some kind of way. It does not say how it's going to increase, but it's going to increase in some kind of way as the seasons progress. I said just agree to an amount and then go back to the table in 3 years. And then that way you can gauge league growth.
The real reason behind the WNBA's sudden salary explosion becomes clear the moment you look at what has been happening outside the league. Project B, the new rising powerhouse in women's basketball, has been shaking the entire landscape with offers that completely dwarf traditional WNBA salaries. While the WNBA pushed its max to a little over $1 million, Project B came in offering a minimum of $2 million to players willing to sign. Not for stars only, not for MVP contenders only, a minimum. That alone sent shockwaves across locker rooms, front offices, and ownership meetings. Players were not guessing what Project B was offering, they already knew. Many had already received calls, emails, and private messages with official numbers attached. And when those numbers started leaking to the public, everything changed. Alyssa Thomas, John Kell Jones, and NECA all agreed to deals that reportedly passed the $2 million mark. Jewel Lloyd signed soon after, confirming what insiders already suspected. Top WNBA talent was willing to walk. Project B promised better money, better treatment, better accommodations, and a schedule that did not burn players out before they returned to their WNBA teams. Suddenly, the WNBA's old salary structure looked outdated and powerless. The league had always depended on loyalty, tradition, and the dream of building the sport in the United States. But loyalty becomes complicated when someone else is offering life-changing money. And once the first few stars crossed over, everyone realized the floodgates could open at any moment. This is why the WNBA rushed its new proposal. They were not responding to fan pressure or long-term planning. They were reacting to a new league that instantly created a financial divide they could not ignore. Project B forced the WNBA to defend its talent before the entire foundation collapsed. Now, every player in the league is watching the numbers closely. They know their value, they know their leverage, they know they have options. And the WNBA knows one uncomfortable truth. If they do not keep growing these salaries, Project B will gladly take the players who bring the fans, the ratings, and the future of the sport. And the next wave of decisions from players could shift the balance even further. When the WNBA and the Players' Union sat down to negotiate the new CBA, the tension was already sky high. Both sides knew the stakes were larger than anything they had dealt with before. Players were frustrated, owners were nervous, and every conversation felt like it could tip into a public fight. The moment players opted out of the previous CBA, it became clear that they were no longer willing to settle for small improvements or slow incremental changes. They wanted real upgrades, they wanted commitment, and they wanted the league to prove they were finally ready to invest at a level worthy of professional athletes. The list of demands from the union was long and direct. Better salaries were only the beginning. Players wanted improved benefits, guaranteed charter travel, stronger revenue sharing, and a softer salary cap so teams could keep their rosters intact without suffering penalties. They also pushed for league-wide minimum standards so every franchise operated on equal footing, eliminating the long-standing gaps between the top teams and the struggling ones. On top of that, roster expansion became a major priority. Too many talented players were being cut every season simply because there were not enough spots. Negotiations got heated quickly. Public statements were exchanged, frustration spilled into interviews, and both sides accused each other of dragging the process out. Every time progress seemed close, another issue surfaced. Meanwhile, the calendar kept moving. The CBA was originally set to expire on October 31st, and the pressure of that deadline intensified everything. Instead of resolving their disagreements, both sides were forced into a 30-day extension just to keep the season on track. Behind closed doors, people familiar with the talks said the atmosphere swung between hopeful and explosive. Owners worried about long-term costs, players worried about long overdue changes, and everyone worried about Project B lurking in the background, ready to swoop in during the chaos. The WNBA understood one thing clearly. If negotiations broke down and players felt unheard, they could lose their biggest stars overnight. That realization pushed the urgency even higher, and the ripple effects of that pressure are still unfolding.
As negotiations dragged on, the clock hanging over the WNBA became impossible to ignore. The original CBA deadline of October 31 was already tight, but when both sides failed to reach an agreement, they were forced into a 30-day extension just to keep the league functioning. That extra month did not calm the situation. It made every conversation more intense, every delay more noticeable,
every decision more urgent. Owners, executives, agents, and players all understood that if the calendar ran out without a deal, the entire league could be thrown into uncertainty. One of the biggest complications came from expansion. For months, the league proudly promoted its newest franchises, the Toronto Temple and the Portland Fire. Fans were excited, and the WNBA positioned both teams as proof that the league was growing. But behind the scenes, expansion was completely frozen. The league could not finalize rules, hold an expansion draft, or even set the timeline for building rosters until the new CBA was signed. Without it, everything stalled. Owners grew frustrated because they had already invested money, marketing, and staffing into teams that still had no operational roadmap. The salary increases complicated things even more. Yes, the numbers sounded impressive. Yes, the new pay structure looked player-friendly. But owners wanted to know how the league planned to sustain those salaries over multiple seasons. The proposal included salary growth each year, which meant future costs would rise even higher. That created quiet conversations about whether the league's financial model could stretch far enough to cover the promises being made. Then came the biggest fear of all. What happens if Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest draw, misses time again? During her injury stretch, ratings held steady only because fans believed she would return. The moment people realized she was out longer than expected, engagement started to dip. The league knows how reliant it is on her star power, and that reality makes every financial decision feel riskier. With all these pressures building at once, everyone involved realized something. The salary raise was not just a negotiation tactic, it was a survival move. And the next steps the league takes will determine whether this gamble pays off or creates even bigger problems.
The WNBA's new salary proposal may look impressive on paper, but underneath the excitement sits a growing fear that everyone in the league understands, but rarely says out loud. The league's financial stability is tied directly to Caitlin Clark in a way no single player has ever influenced the WNBA before. Her arrival brought an explosion of ticket sales, sponsorships, merchandise demand, and national attention that the league had never been able to generate on its own. The surge was so dramatic that owners and executives quietly admit they're unsure what the league would look like without her consistent presence on the floor. When Clark missed time earlier in the season, the numbers told the truth immediately. Fans kept watching the Indiana Fever because they expected her to return soon. The moment it became clear she was out longer than expected, engagement across the league shifted. People tuned in hoping for updates. They followed the story because they believed she was coming back. That anticipation alone kept ratings afloat. But once uncertainty grew, interest started to fade. The WNBA knows it, the players know it, and the owners know it, even if they do not say it publicly. This is why the timing of the new salary raise feels strategic. The league understands that relying so heavily on one player is risky. If Clark suffers another injury or chooses to sit out a season for health reasons, the financial impact could be immediate. Sponsors invest because she is on the court. Broadcasters promote games because she delivers ratings. Road arenas sell out because fans want to see her play live. Without her, the league loses its most powerful marketing engine. Players see this as well. They understand their leverage grows every time the league shows how dependent it has become on one star. Some support the raise, happy the league is finally investing in its athletes. Others believe the raise should have come sooner and still does not match what Project B offers. That creates tension between optimism and caution. As fans react to the new salary structure, many celebrate it as a step forward, but others wonder whether the league can maintain this model long-term. And with Caitlin Clark's health and workload in the spotlight, that question becomes even more important moving forward.
The reaction from players across the league captured just how complex this moment truly is. On one side, there were veterans and rising stars celebrating what felt like a long overdue breakthrough. For years, they pushed for higher pay, better treatment, and a league that valued their contributions beyond simple slogans. Seeing a max salary finally cross the $1 million mark gave many players a sense of validation. It proved their voices mattered. It showed their effort was being recognized. And for some, it felt like a sign that the league was finally ready to evolve. But not everyone viewed the raise the same way. A large group of players immediately questioned whether the new numbers were genuinely sustainable. They compared the offer to Project B's minimum $2 million salary and wondered if this CBA proposal was enough to keep talent from exploring other options. Many players privately admitted they felt the timing was suspicious. Why did the league suddenly find this money only after several stars signed with Project B? Why did promises take years to materialize, only to appear instantly when a rival league became a real threat? Another layer of worry sat beneath the surface. With the salary cap still in place, some players feared that only top stars would benefit from the raise, leaving role players in the same position as before. They questioned whether the league would add more roster spots, provide equal travel accommodations, and fix the long-standing issues that go beyond salary alone.
Fair treatment is more than a paycheck. It is stability, safety, and respect, and those problems remain unsolved. Fans jumped into the conversation as well. Some argued that players like A'ja Wilson deserved far more, even calling for $10 million salaries. Others pushed back, pointing out that the league's finances could never support numbers like that without collapsing. This debate created friction within fan communities and highlighted how divided people are on the league's financial reality. Through all the excitement and skepticism, one thing became clear. The salary increase gave players hope, but it also raised new questions about the future. And with Project B gaining momentum, those questions are about to become even urgent.
As the new salary proposal made headlines, another conversation began to spread quietly among players, agents, and insiders. A question no one asked publicly, but everyone whispered in private. What if players decide to skip the WNBA season entirely? This possibility, once considered unthinkable, now sits firmly on the table because of how Project B structured its league. Project B operates from November to April, a perfect window that allows players to earn massive money without overlapping with the WNBA calendar. But insiders point out something even more impactful. Nothing stops a player from choosing rest, recovery, or personal priorities over returning to the WNBA afterward. For years, players juggled overseas commitments and WNBA seasons because they needed the income. Now, with Project B offering $2 million or more, that financial pressure disappears instantly. A player can earn life-changing money in one season without wearing down their body year-round. And once that pressure is gone, the decision to sit out a WNBA season becomes less about money and more about health, freedom, and opportunity. This is where the WNBA feels the danger most. If a handful of stars decide to skip a season, the league could lose momentum, ratings, and sponsorship value overnight. The WNBA sells its product around recognizable names. When those names disappear, even temporarily, the league struggles to replace that star power. Fans do not tune in for a logo, they tune in for the players they follow obsessively. Without them, everything changes. Some players already recognize the power this gives them. They understand that the new CBA offer is not just a contract, it is a negotiation tool shaped by the threat of Project B's influence. And if they believe the WNBA is not moving fast enough on travel upgrades, revenue sharing, or roster expansion, they now hold a powerful option. They can walk away for a season without sacrificing financial stability. This possibility sends a clear message to the league. The WNBA can no longer assume loyalty. It must earn it. And as more players evaluate their options, the pressure on the league to deliver real change continues to climb. The next decisions players make could shift the future of women's basketball in a way no one expected.
The WNBA's massive salary proposal may feel like a breakthrough, but when you look closer, it becomes clear that this moment is only the start of a much larger battle for the league's future. The new numbers reflect ambition, but they also reveal uncertainty. Raising the max salary to over $1 million signals progress, yet it does not address the deeper issues that have frustrated players for years. Charter flights, revenue sharing, roster expansion, and equal operating standards across franchises all remain unresolved. These problems go beyond money. They shape trust, stability, and the long-term health of the league. Expansion complicates everything further. The Toronto Temple and Portland Fire were supposed to be major wins for the WNBA. Fresh markets, new fans, and a chance to grow the sport nationwide. But with the CBA still unsettled, both expansion teams are stuck waiting for the green light. Until the league finalizes the rules, drafts, and salary structures, those franchises cannot sign players or begin building competitive rosters. That uncertainty sends a message, intentional or not. Growth is happening, but it is not organized. Ambition is here, but the foundation is not fully ready. Meanwhile, Project B continues to rise in the background, shaping every decision the WNBA makes. For the first time, players have a real alternative, not a hypothetical league or an international option with limited visibility, but a well-funded competitor offering life-changing contracts. The WNBA knows it cannot afford to lose control of the narrative or allow talent to drift away. This salary jump is an attempt to protect the league's identity before the balance shifts even more. Fans watching all of this unfold find themselves stunned for different reasons. Some are excited to see the league investing in its athletes. Others worry the sudden spending spike suggests panic rather than long-term planning. The raise feels like a victory, but it also exposes how fragile the current system truly is. As the CBA deadline approaches and players weigh their options, the WNBA stands at a crossroads.
Its next moves will determine whether this bold salary raise becomes the foundation for a stronger future or a temporary bandage covering deeper cracks. The entire sport is waiting to see which direction the league chooses.
The WNBA's massive new salary offer marks a turning point, but it also exposes how much pressure the league is under. Fans are stunned, players are weighing their options, and ownership knows this raise alone cannot guarantee stability. Project B has changed the landscape, forcing the WNBA to move faster and think bigger than ever before. The question now is whether this proposal represents real long-term progress or a temporary reaction to growing competition. As negotiations continue and players decide their next steps, the future of the league hangs in the balance, and everyone is watching closely.